This will be a quick comparison video between the 14909MLL transmission and a 13-speed transmission, as well as showing the inside of both of them. So basically, this is a transmission with extreme deep reduction. Sorry, I think that's manufactured. That's the rebuild service there. Rebuild people. Here's the actual code for this transmission. That's 14909MLL. And first thing I noticed that when I opened it, it's opened up the lid. It says built by Brad. I don't know if he did that just to have fun, or maybe they're required to do that so they know who rebuilt the transmission for responsibility. And this transmission looks pretty good inside, actually. But there are some spots where there's junk, as you can see right there. And a spot where there's some corrosion. Just move it to neutral here. It's all right there. It's got some corrosion. I'm not going to disassemble this whole transmission just because of the surface rust. I'm just going to get some rust converter or some rust removal product, that green stuff. And because it's just some surface rust, it's not bad at all. A little bit here. This is what a used transmission from the scrapyard is, right? Drop some junk there. And then I'll just wash it off with some gasoline, and just blow off the dust, the junk. If I can get a good so that's looking into the auxiliary. It's got the switch here for the valve, and it's at a bit of an angle. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or not. And apparently the way you can tell them apart, you can identify this transmission is by the this part here, which is really wide. Then it's got a combination cylinder for the range cylinder and the deep reduction. This is what the top looks like. And one thing I really liked about this is that it's got this plate with these two bolts here. And this holds the spring and ball inside here so that they don't fall off. So I'm going to put those bolts back, actually. But that's really nice. On the other one, it just goes under the... what holds the springs down is the actual shift tower. So when you remove it, the balls and springs could potentially fall off. So this one, and it also changes position. So right now with this, it actually keeps, so right now I have it in neutral, and it just keeps everything in neutral. It stops the gears from moving out of place. One difference that I noticed is, that this this is for the reverse. It's actually straight, and you'll see the comparison on the 13-speed now. So So this is the main transmission on my old 13-speed. This is moving in and out easily. So that one's actually C. So yeah, that's probably not right on the MLL. That's probably gotta be fixed. But this part looks exactly the same. So here's the MLL. Here's the 13. Another difference is I spot the difference. One difference that I noticed that the MLL's got got like a plate with bolts that hold this bearing here, and it's got these pieces here. Whereas on the 13, it's got bolts with holes on them, and they put wires through it so it doesn't come loose. So this is supposedly safer, just like on airplanes they do that. This one's obviously looking a lot cleaner. This looks brand new. This is unbelievable. I wonder if this transmission was replaced at some point. This is not the original transmission. I noticed that these things here broke off. These bolts broke off, so maybe this is just a different transmission. And this one is open. The 13, as you can see, is completely open here. It doesn't have the this square part here. But apart from that, it looks exactly the same. Obviously, I will check the manuals, compare the manuals. You can get both manuals from the Eaton website and compare the differences, see if the gears are the same. So my understanding is that these transmissions are basically an 8-speed with a different auxiliary. So on the main transmission, still an 8-speed. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you change the range. You've got 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're both 8 speeds, and then the only difference is the auxiliary, which gets you the other things. So this one, as you can see, it's quite a bit narrower here. The 13. You've got the deep reduction cylinder here, and then an overdrive cylinder here, and it's got this round thing here, and we'll see. But I think the main transmissions are the same, although it doesn't really matter in terms of buying, because I don't think most places will not sell you just the auxiliary. They'll sell you the whole transmission. But it's just easier in terms of replacing, because if you just replace the back part, the auxiliary, you could do it by hand without removing the transmission, which is a lot more work. So it's just that makes it easier. So the auxiliary looks, well, it doesn't look bad at all. I can't even see what's wrong. I guess it must be at the bottom. None of the big gears is broken, so that's a great thing. So I was debating on whether or not to remove the yoke and just test everything, but I'm going to leave it alone. But I am going to take the that regulator out and open this up and just make sure the air system works before putting this back on. But I really want to test the extreme reduction, because it's obviously happening here, but I can't really see the difference. Not really noticing the big differences on the auxiliary, at least on this part. So okay, that's the MLL. That's the 13. One other thing I will point out is that, as you can see, these transmissions are painted on the inside. And my research told me that it's actually called Gliptol, that's the brand. Or another newer brand is ER44, and that's what I previously used. It's the exact same color, and it's basically a super paint that resists everything. But on this transmission, looks like the MLL, there's no paint on the inside. Yeah, this must be if it's broken off in there like that. That's supposed to be moving in and out, I think. I mean, yeah, it has to move in and out. That's the valve, that's the neutral valve. So, would be nice to paint it, but maybe in another lifetime. One thing that the guy at the junkyard told me is that they had everything. At Langgeels, they had everything. They had 8 LLs, they had 13 speeds, they had 15 speeds, they had MLLs. And the guy was telling me that the 8 LLs are a lot more expensive than the MLLs. The MLLs are fairly cheap because they're rare. So the rare ones are actually cheaper because the most common ones are the ones more sought after. So this one is really only used in concrete trucks and things that have to turn really slowly. So they're cheaper and more for what I want. So, but I'm just really curious to see what's behind this. I'm gonna disassemble the back of that 13 because I know we have a problem there. Or I'm pretty sure we have a problem. So, but anyways, we'll do that in some other time. One other last thing that I just noticed is that the bell housing is different in terms that it's got on the MLL. It's got these. Now, obviously, you can have different bell housing in different transmissions, so this is, I guess, separate. So this different bell housing's got these 4-threaded holes here, and it's got a hole that goes right through, I guess, for some kind of shaft. And it's got that on both sides, whereas my old bell housing doesn't. It doesn't look like it makes a difference, but I will probably have to check, make sure they fit. I will probably remove the bell housing on both of them just so that I can clean it and paint it, because I think it's just 4 bolts. Or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7, 8, 9. Okay, maybe a few more, but it should be a quick removal. Let's see if this shifter from the transmission same spot. But I could potentially put this bell housing on that transmission. Should be a problem. And this on the shifter is at the bottom. But looks like I don't think it had a spot for the top, but I guess just the casting. Maybe it'll still work at the bottom. I'm not sure. We'll have to. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out.